गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णू गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषाद्वै। ओम शांति 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 हरि Om. Let there be peace, let there be peace and love amongst all the human beings of the universe. Let there be peace, let there be peace. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We will be doing the total revision of chapter number 7 as a contemplation on this chapter, and we'll be seeing it from the Advait Bhav, so that the purpose of reading the essence of Yogavaasishtha to keep our mind tranquil, to keep our mind cheerful, to keep your mind blissful, to keep your mind happy, to keep our mind under control, and to keep our mind relaxed and cool. That is the purpose of doing all these meetings or sadhana which we are saying. So, how to achieve this? Is it only reading the stories and not changing our attitude, reading the stories and keeping our mind as it is in the relative world? So no, it is not like that. We have to keep our mind always happy, tranquil, peaceful, cheerful, and over relaxed and cool under all the situations. For that purpose, this contemplation or the studies is going. And as I already said, or keep on saying, that this is first going to benefit the speaker. Speaker is the first listener. So naturally, the speaker is going through the concepts which are useful for himself and useful for the world and useful for everyone, each one of us. And naturally, with that, this purpose is only that, and we are seeing that. So let us go into the details. Story of Lavana. Who is giving the story of Lavana? Vasishtha Rishi. Who is Vasishtha Rishi? Guru. Who is Vasishtha Rishi? Otherwise, Manas Putra of Brahmaji. He is a Manas Putra of Brahmaji, and what he is saying? He is advising to Shishya, whose Shishya is Sri Ram. His age is 15 years old, and he is most dispassionate, Viveki. He is Viveki. And what are the problems in the mind of Rama? Rama's problem were threefold. One was the world is painful, world is sorrowful, and world is at the might of time. जगत में सब दुखमय है, सब पेनफुल है और समय के अधीन है. तो अभी क्या करें? So Vasishtha Rishi is giving advice, telling him what is really the truth. So when now the Rama was suffering, so what was that if you compared with Bhagavad Gita? Whenever difficult things comes in our life, understand that we have started the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, because first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is also Arjun Vishad Yoga. In this first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what Arjun did in first chapter, what Arjun did, Arjun only kept on complaining, applying logic, teaching Bhagwan. He is teaching Bhagwan, and when he himself doesn't have knowledge, but he is teaching Bhagwan. And Bhagwan Krishna does not say anything. He was only laughing. He was just smiling and blabbering of the wise fool. He has not fought with that wise fool. Wise fool. What is wise fool? Who talks wisdom but does not practice the wisdom in life. So then Arjun understood when he was not talking, then Arjun understood. And then second chapter he says, Karpanya dosha pahat swabhava pruchhamitam mudacheta. So he said something problem with me only. When I am asking so many questions, when I am dejected, there is some problem with me only. So then Arjun surrendered himself to the Lord Krishna. So what has been told by Krishna to Arjun is the truth. He tells him the truth. And what is the truth? Very nicely said, wherever you are, whatever you are, whenever you are, be 100%. You are on the battlefield. What you are the warrior. So fight the war. So when this mantra is said, even though it is not in Sanskrit, but it carries the meaning. So when communication goes, so naturally the meaning has to be implemented. So spiritual practice is getting course of war. He has to fight the war. There is no other option for him. So that instead of that, what he started seeing is the relatives and his friends and suffered. So you have to discriminate. विचार करना पड़ेगा. One is supporting asat or asat. He is beyond sat and asat. Come back to yourself. You have to come back to yourself. Come back to the absolute present. That is the presence. He has to come back to absolute present. That is the presence. And quietening the mind. You have to quieten the mind. Although awake, still sleeping to the relative world. अपन जगत में रह रहे पर रिलेटिव वर्ड्स को स्लिप कर रहे. Whenever we talk about topic again and again, it gathers the status of reality which is not. अपन कोई चीज के बारे में बहुत बहुत खूब 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 बात करने लग गए तो उसको रियलिटी आती पर वो सच नहीं है. वो वैसे भी रियलिटी आए कि ना है वो तो झूठी है. So mind should learn that it is at the peace under all conditions. Whatever the conditions are, that mind should remain at peace. Don't expect that peace is outside. Peace is your own experience. Pieces are outside. When pieces stop disturbing you, you have achieved the peace. तभी अपने को peace मिलेगा. This is liberation. So what is the disturbed mind? Disturbed mind is samsara, and undisturbed mind is a liberation. So my dear friends, work on the mind. Mind के साथ काम करना पड़ेगा. In relaxed and alert mind, only knowledge takes place. So you have to keep your mind relaxed and pleasurous. Do not support your worrying nature. Laugh at your stupidity. How to do that? 30 seconds, don't talk to yourself and listen to the silence. We have seen this sadhana. You have to don't talk to yourself and listen to the silence. Because of your own projections, Sankalpa, Samakatva Kalpana, either we run after the things or we go away from the things. Sankalpa, we become attached, addicted, bound by the things, and we don't like something, then we are bound by rejections. And when we like something, we get attracted by the things. So wise man never gets involved in anybody's life. So let's say if we are Grihastha, then we are not supposed to get involved in the son's or daughter's life. But whereas what they do then, they start inquiring what is the truth and start rejecting what is untruth. जो untruth है उसको reject करना चालू कर देते हैं. So what is that? Gold is seen. Gold is very much there when we see the ornaments. So spiritual practice begins when we start working on the mind. But what happens without working on the mind? We start complaining about the mind. Chanchalatva mana Krishna abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagena samuprashate. Mind is always chanchal, but you have to put lot of efforts every time. You find out what are the methods for controlling the mind. You have to find out methods. Complaining and crying about the mind is not a spiritual practice. So how to do that? See, if you have sufficient time, then start studying some relevant subject or do some yoga, join some yoga program or do get engaged. Engaged mind is a happy mind. You have to keep your mind engaged and then only it is a happy mind, and let the child in you be reborn again. Let him be reborn again and keep on doing what? Keep on doing maybe some courses, some proper online study programs, or do some yoga programs, or do something which you really like, and so that you will enjoy. And that's it. So there are so many things to be learned online, offline. You can join. So what will happen because of that? Your mind will remain engaged, and when mind remains engaged, engaged mind is the happy mind. It has to be kept 24 by 7 engaged. Don't keep even 1 hour vacant, so that you'll suffer in that, because mind immediately gathers the thoughts and that is called as the dust. So learn so many things in life and be full of life by remaining busy. You have to be busy and so that you will be full of life. Once you get introvert, your mind gets doesn't get entertained by the external world and it does not go into the depression. It starts remaining closer to your own being, divine being. And if such situation comes, then whether you are working or not working, whether you are doing something or not doing, what happens is you remain always like 18th Adhyaya Bhagavad Gita says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu madabhakti lavate naram. So don't think otherwise you'll suffer and keep on suffering. So what has to be dropped now? Past has to be dropped totally. So you can put today's 31st August 2023. You just put your hand on your loving heart and say 31st August 2023, delete, delete, delete. 31st August 2023, delete, delete, delete. 31st 2000, August 2023, delete, delete, delete. So everything has to be deleted before. So that what happens is do it every day. So what happens is everything, all past is deleted. Similarly, future you are not supposed to worry and remain in present as a presence. And if you are really doing some sadhana, if you are doing something to keep yourself busy, so don't do the things mechanically. Keep on changing. If you keep on doing the mechanically, then you will get boredom in that. So keep on changing because mind likes the change. You can keep on changing things. You have to find out how the mind can be kept occupied, and accordingly you have to work. You have to strongly accept what is due to us only comes to us. So whatever is really due for us, that only comes to us, and then you have to do a vivek buddhi. So when you are in the dream, you are enjoying the dream. Naturally, you will never feel dream as a dream there. You will feel really, really great. But when dream something shock thing comes, then dream backs and you come to know, oh, it was a dream. Similarly, in the waking state, if some terrible thing happens, you start rethinking, why this has happened to me? Why I should suffer? Then you start inquiring, who am I? And with this inquiry, when you keep on inquiring, then you come to know that I am divine. I am not body, I am not Jivatma. So don't go here and there for satsang. Listen to the satsang at one place and get the nirnay. So what is that? What is the moral of story? Apply Vedanta to our day-to-day life. Don't go into too much of the philosophy. Don't get into too much of the things. Don't run after the things. Apply this philosophy to your own life. But know how life has to be lived, understood, and get out of this relative illusionary world. This is all relative illusionary world. Like story of Lavana tells us that there was a Shambhari come and then he came to the juggler, King Lavana's place. Then he sat on the horse. That horse went into the jungle. Then he met that tribal lady. From that tribal lady, he had two sons and two daughters. Subsequently, he had a son has asked for food. Then he got confused, jumped into the fire, and then he came out of that with delusion. And when he came out of the delusion, he understood that this is all the Devi Maya Durataya. It is difficult to cross that. So that was the first topic. So know for a certain that life has to be lived, understood, and get into the relative illusionary world. And what is there for us to suffer? Putreshna, Vitteshna, and Lokeshna. So you have to be aware about this, and that is called as samsara. This is there is some divine grace come to us to tell us the position of relative world. So this Lavana also got this known position of relative world, and then he got to know the things. So God cannot do wrong to us. You should always remember, even if you are wrong, there it is His grace. That means it is Hari Ichha or Hari Krupa. Always divinity remains. So, for example, parents punish the child for what purpose? Welfare of child, not to abuse him, not to put him under the trouble. So neither child understand nor the onlookers understand why the parents are scolding the child because they feel, Array is a child, why you are doing that? But then it is for his correction. We have to learn from every event in the life. Every event is planned by the divine will. So it is all planned by the God. We have to understand that out of the delusion, illusion of world becomes real to us. So don't suffer. You have to become an instrument through which the divine can express in full glory through us. Actually, Paramatma is sitting in the heart. So we have to become divine instrument so that we becomes full glorious. So God selects right man for the work and divine expresses only as happiness. So spiritual practice is learning from every experience of life. If you are learning, then you will have no problems in the life. Learning makes us wise with every additional learning. When we grow wise, will never be miserable. All the experience which we have exclusively are in the mind. So working on the mind is very important. There is nothing real, anything than the mind. So you have to work on the mind. If you are working on the spiritual path, don't bother about the world. World has always been like that, and we are here to correct the mind. We have to mind our mind. So what is this sadhana which is been told by the Patanjali? Patanjali has told the Ashtanga Yoga sadhana, which is called as Yama Niyama asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. So which is called as external sadhana and internal sadhana. So what is yama? World is not problem for us, and we are not problem for the world. That is yama. Niyama, what is that niyama? We are not problems to ourselves. You have to see that that is niyama. Then asana means we are happy for no reasons. We are always happy. Pranayama means can our activities are very much under control. Pratyahara means effortless withdrawal from the world. Dharana Dhyan Samadhi is 678, that is internal sadhana, which control of mind with reference to time, space, and object. So this is called as Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And after this 8, from starting from Yama to Samadhi, then we remain in Sanyama. Sanyam, how will you remain in Sanyam? That is only by working of mind. So here also now what has happened is first topic has become Shambarikam, where that was a delusion caused by the illusion created by the Shambarik, and that is called as the divine illusion, which teaches us the worldly existence. Subsequent topic was Sansar Vibrama. That Sansar Vibrama is what? So that is now been told subsequently. Mind with zero objectivity is consciousness. If we really drop all the objectivity from the mind, it is only consciousness. So what equation we have done? Mind minus thoughts is equal to consciousness. You start reducing Tanu Manasa. Moment you start reducing this thing, what happens is mind get dissolved, and what remains is consciousness. So mind with zero objectivity is called as consciousness. Joy of renunciation is much more than the joy of possession and indulgence. Agar, for example, you take an example of a person who keeps on smoking the cigarette. He has smoked the cigarette for maybe last 40 years. But by God's grace or by his own efforts, he leaves that, and now he's not smoking. So if somebody asks, what is your experience whether you are smoking? That experience is better, and we are not smoking, that experience is better. See, obviously, he says renunciation experience is far, far, far better. When I was indulging in smoking, that was unfortunate. I was suffering there. But now, when I left, I am really happy. So, tyagena eka amrutatva maneshu. Give up the wrong notions. You have to give up only wrong notions. So, mind merges in pure consciousness, and that is possible only by a dhrud abhyas. उसकी पढ़ाई करना पड़ेगा, बार बार करना पड़ेगा. So use all our mantras for remaining happy. Be happy always. More you give attention towards mind, mind will make you dance like useless child. He will make you dance like some useless child is there. If you really keep on pampering mind, so naturally it will make you run after him and make you to toss. Let our theme for the mind is only one, that is pure consciousness, and less of the world. That's why for these afternoon meetings or satsang is required. So stop worrying. Drop your past, drop your future, remain in the presence. So only technique by which we will be never miserable is Moj mein raho, be happy always. Step 2 is refuse. But what the people will say, refuse to be miserable. But what people say, nothing to worry of the people, because people are not going to help you to control the mind. So how to work in the world? Do the work with passionate, do the work very happily, cheerfully, whatever comes to your share, not anybody else's share. So here is nothing is ours, nothing is somebody else's. So when you lose something, really you don't lose. When you gain something, you don't get, because it is only the transaction in the relative world. Mind which is controlled is called as a conscious mind. So we have to live our life, we have to live our death, and we have to practice our spiritual practice, and which is called very nicely by Krishna is titikshatva. You have to titiksha अपने जीवन में आना चाहिए, सुख दुख का समाधान रहना चाहिए. So subsequently now the samsara vibram is telling the samsara sthiti bodhini. In samsara what we have is upadhis: mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife, cheating, miseries, happiness, sorrow, etc. This is called as sthiti of samsara. These events tell us what is the world. It is a daivi maya duratya. It is very difficult to cross this. So Lavana has experienced under the spell of illusion which was experienced as a Chandala. Exactly all experience we are getting in our life are of the only mind imagination. अपने मन के ही सब experiences है. So as much we are getting miserable by ourselves, nobody can make us miserable. It is only our mind, it is all the tricks of the mind. But of course, if you inquire, Manasam tu kim margane krute, if you keep on inquiring, mind will dissolve, and what remains is consciousness. So this juggler was not an ordinary juggler, he was really Devi Maya, and he tried to teach us divine illusion, which is the state of worldly existence. So what is that? Delusion and illusion can be quietened only by control of mind. If you really control the mind, then only it is possible to be under control. So the whole spiritual practice is working on the mind. There is no other way. Experiences are only in mind and mind is not real. So in Chitta Vritti Nirodh happens then we merge in absolute. It is not suppression of mind, no Chitta Vritti Nirodh, rather Chitta Vritti Sanyam, control of mind. So by the restraint of mind, the delusion of worldly existence reaches elevation. That means if Chitta Vritti Nirodh happens, then we are merged in absolute. It should happen. You should not do that. This is the meaning. But before that, we have to completely control our mind. Pure and controlled mind is a fit mind to get rid of the worldly problems. There cannot be happiness without one's own effort. You have to keep all kinds of desires and demands. Spiritual practice is not desire fulfillment. So, what are the prayers to be done? ओ गॉड रिमूव ऑल डिजायर्स फ्रॉम माय माइंड. हे भगवान मेरे मन से सब डिजायर्स निकाल दो. लेट देयर बी desire free experience of renunciation of one own desire. Let me be whatever is there in my credit, let it be there. So mind has to be perfectly cooled by one's own efforts. Bhagwan's Ram coronation or exit to the forest. Both the things kept Bhagwan's mind cool because he was knowing it is all his Maya. After fighting with Ravan, no enmity remained because it was the mind fighting, not the body. The knowledge where I and me are violently operating, that knowledge is a mind, resorting to the best of the efforts, having taken the mind to the state of free, attend to the great position. So spiritual practice is only working on the mind. Dissolve mind into its own source, that is consciousness. Give up the objectivity that is desire and ahankar. So, desire can stop happening only under the two conditions. When sense of otherness is not there and you consider everything as illusion, then only the desire will stop. Let the mind dissolve into its own source, meaning give up the objectivity predominant of the knowledge in mind, which is called as Triputi, knower, known knowledge gets dropped. If you drop the knower and known knowledge, the knower and knower, then knowledge also get disappear. Lesser the entertainment of worldly thing, lighter you become. There is nothing in this world which mind can get engaged into. So nothing to gain, nothing to lose, or is total finite. We have to give up undue importance given by us to this world. So Drudhabhyas, whatever this, you have to do everything again and again. You have to do the Drudhabhyas. Whatever you have given importance, that alone makes you trouble in this life. We have given the importance to particular thing, we have to devalue it. So don't take your upadhis as real. They are practical, but don't take them real and suffer. We attain total fulfillment in life, then only no fear of death will come. We don't have to become divine, we have to stop only becoming undivine. Remaining undivine means not desiring. Desire comes when we take this world as real. This world becomes real when we identify ourselves with this body. First of all, understand that mind and consciousness, there is no desire. Moment desire comes, consciousness is reduced to mind. Consciousness is happiness, mind is a misery. So what is the sadhana told here? Dekho suno bolo mat. You have to understand this and let it go into our DNA. So mind it becomes activated because of the sankalpa. So sankalpa vashat. So why not to make a sankalpa that I am divine? So you have to make that sankalpa. Not like I am weak, I am distressed, I am bound, I am possessor of hand and legs, and I am totally bound. So by the temporary experience of sukha dukkha becomes permanently miserable is not a right condition. So we have to see that. So whenever we wash dishes or don't wash dishes, don't blame miserable, don't become miserable. Keep your mind free of projection imagination and see here you don't talk. Being happy means if you are happy you have conquered the world. If you are struggling to be happy then you are enslaved with the world. So what are the Kathonopanishad says? Attain the freedom from desire. That's it. Desireless experience is God and can come back to our own divine nature. We have to come back to our own divine nature. That is what has been said here. So ignorance is nothing but the desire, spiritual ignorance. Avidya kama karma. If you go by it, avidya, first what will come is ignorance will come, and that ignorance will make you move around in the world. So you do the karma. You will find out, okay, this is good, that is bad. You keep on doing that, and then you start doing activity. You run after that from one shop to another shop, and likewise it goes. So like if I if I am body is not a problem, only the body I am and the other bodies I am not. That is also not the situation. See here how it is simple. Due to Ichha, there is an agitation in mind. I want to become complete. So one start becoming complete by adding something. So add something like this, and still you don't feel complete. So naturally then you suffer. So after the desire goes up, then karma begins, and when the karma begins, calm begins, and when calm begins, the karma also begins. So when we understood that, we will not be influenced by desire. Desire may come, but will not be influenced by the desires. So for example, no complaint about traffic, accept it whatever is happening, and be cheerful. So, freedom from desire is liberation. Don't stop unnecessary thinking. You have to stop the unnecessary thinking. Whatever you are thinking about unnecessary, that is to stop. Mind is caught because of its own hold. अपने ही होल्ड से माइंड पकड़ा रहता है. So you have to be very particular. So what is that? Either accept Brahma Satya Jagan Nitya or accept Sarvam Brahmeti. You have to do that. So the second topic which was there, which is telling us the Samsar Vibhrama is telling us that Chitta Uttisha Nirodh doesn't happen, but when you start doing Yama Niyam, Asan Pranayam Pratyaya Dharana Dhyan Samadhi, what comes is shortly is Sanyama. So Sanyama helps us. So that is what is said. So third is Ajnana Bhumika. Ajnana Bhumika, we have seven times of Ajnana Bhumika. Bija Jagruta, Jagruta, Mahajagruta, Jagra Sapna, Swapna, Swapna Jagruta, Shushupti. These are the seven, right from Bija Jagruta to Samadhi we have seen. So whole spiritual practice is know yourself, not like why and how. Who am I? You have to know. When you start searching who am I, you get to know that you are that divinity. So abundance in the essential nature is the liberation. Your question should not start why I am suffering, why I am enjoying. Rather, you should say who am I. So cannot be spoken of. Pure consciousness is uncreated. It does not have past and future. Presence is only in being. Waking state, which is stored in front of the impressions, is called as Bija Jagrat. When spirit puts, then the notion, what is the notion? I am there. This is second notion. And likewise, it continues. So this was regarding the third topic, Ajnana Bhumika. Fourth topic is Jnana Bhumika. In Jnana Bhumika, what we have? Shastra Sajjan Subhecha. Shubhecha is then Vicharna. Vicharna then Tanu Manasa. State of thin mind. After that, Sattva Patti. Then after that, Asang Sakti. Then after that, Padartha Bhavana. And then it brings back no addition object. Then it brings back to the Turiya stage, wherein we remain in a conscious mood. So that was told regarding the Jnana Bhumika. Now, Ajnana Mahatmyam, the mystery of majesty of the nuisance of spiritual ignorance. What it is told is, it is all the trick of the mind. So, man is undisturbed and is undisturbed happiness, whereas husband or relation is disturbed misery. You are discarded fully in your life. So, what is said in the Avidya Mahatmam is, any karma you do that is going to give you problem because I had done that karma. That is Kartritva Abhiman. Good karmas are also created. Problems are there. The problems of goody goody frustrations will be very everywhere. So whenever a source problem comes in light, it is the grace of God. Then we start rethinking if dream is going now because if some problem in dream it breaks. Whenever you are seeking higher, lower things will automatically drop. So you have to think about which Shubhecha, Vicharna, Tanumanasa, Asangsakti, Bhumi Pancha likewise. So that has been told here, and subsequently, King sees that everything what he was being projecting when Shambharik shown as the peacock feather, everything is at gross level. So Rama asks is how it is possible this is at gross level. Then Bhagwan Vashishta Rishi keeps telling him is it is Rama listen, everything is in mind, nothing is anywhere or anything. All these things are existing because of pure consciousness, which is expressing his mind, and mind is creating the world. So what is like example is given, gold is creating all the ornaments because that is the potentiality of the gold and not of the ornament. Similarly, Paramatma is everything, potentiality is there and it is projecting the world. Know yourself and be happy. Or being happy, you will come to know everything. So what is like being thought free? 10 second, 20 second, you can do that. So subsequently what is seen is delete everything and don't give importance to the presence and absence of everything. So to delete everything, then only you will be happy. So truth which is supported knowledge and ignorance is the truth. Then subsequently it is saying that Rama, there are no other existence for all object except perception. But if projection is not done, you are always in divinity. By the destruction of thought, imagination's pure consciousness only remains. So what remains is only pure consciousness if you destruct the thoughts. That has to be said. And now we'll be seeing tomorrow the 8th chapter, the story of Bhargava. With this we conclude. ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम तत्सत् श्रीरामचंद्रार्पणमस्तु submitting the divine fruits to the holy feet of Sri Ram.